In this podcast episode, Eli Lake, Free Press columnist and host of the Breaking History podcast, unpacks the complex and often misunderstood foreign policy maneuvers of former President Donald Trump, particularly focusing on the recent dramatic escalation against Iran's nuclear program. The discussion reveals a nuanced picture of Trump's approach, which, while appearing chaotic or impulsive on the surface, is rooted in a strategic vision aimed at reshaping the Middle East and securing America's economic and geopolitical future. One of the first topics addressed is the persistent narrative that the United States, especially under Trump, simply dances to Israel's tune, with Trump portrayed as a puppet of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Eli Lake firmly rejects this as a baseless conspiracy rooted in centuries-old anti-Semitic tropes that falsely question Jewish loyalty. He points out that the reality is far more complex. Trump has openly challenged Netanyahu, even ordering him to abort Israeli bombing missions over Iran, demonstrating that the U.S. president was calling the shots, not the other way around. Lake emphasizes the extraordinary intelligence capabilities of Israel's Mossad, particularly its deep penetration into the Iranian regime, which arguably surpasses that of the American intelligence community in this context. While the U.S. excels in technical intelligence collection, Israel's strength lies in human intelligence, recruiting agents within Iran. This intelligence sharing between allies is normal, but the idea that Israel controls or manipulates U.S. policy is a conspiracy theory without factual basis. The conversation then turns to Iran's nuclear ambitions and the recent U.S. Israeli military actions that reportedly dropped more explosive tonnage on Iran's nuclear facilities than was used in Hiroshima or Nagasaki. Lake explains that Iran's nuclear program was not an isolated threat, but part of a broader proxy strategy where nuclear capability would provide a nuclear umbrella for militias like Hezbollah and Hamas. The October 7th Hamas attack, which caught Israel off guard, was linked to Iran's proxy network, though it remains unclear how much the Iranian leadership directly orchestrated it. Israel's systematic dismantling of Iranian proxies following that attack, including the killing of Hezbollah's leader Hassan Nasrallah, set the stage for the strike on Iran's nuclear infrastructure. The removal of Iran's sophisticated air defenses created a rare window of opportunity for Israel and the U.S. to act decisively. According to Lake, the intelligence indicated Iran was nearing a critical threshold, possibly assembling warheads or enriching uranium to weapons-grade levels, making the strike a preemptive move to delay or derail Iran's nuclear weapon capability. Lake argues that the success of this military operation will be measured by how significantly it sets back Iran's nuclear program, including the destruction of enrichment facilities, centrifuge factories, and the elimination of key scientists. However, he stresses that military success alone is insufficient. The ultimate goal is a democratic transition in Iran, one that emerges organically from the Iranian people rather than imposed externally. He highlights the repeated uprisings in Iran since 2017 and the widespread public disdain for the current regime, suggesting that the recent humiliation of the regime could catalyze further internal dissent. The regime's brutal crackdown on protests and the looming succession crisis with the aging supreme leader add to the instability. Lake underscores the critical question of whether Iranian security forces will continue to suppress peaceful demonstrators or defect to the opposition, a decisive factor in any potential democratic uprising. He also notes the role of technology, such as Starlink, in circumventing internet censorship and empowering Iranian citizens, urging the West to support such efforts. The discussion reveals a pragmatic, business-minded Trump who views foreign policy through the lens of economic opportunity and stability. Lake suggests that Trump's hardline stance on Iran is not merely about nuclear weapons, but about creating a stable environment conducive to massive investment from wealthy Gulf states into the American economy. The Gulf monarchies, particularly Saudi Arabia under Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, are undergoing rapid modernization and economic diversification away from oil dependence. Trump's strategy appears to be to hammer Iran into submission to enable the expansion of the Abraham Accords and foster regional peace, which in turn would attract Gulf capital to America. This vision contrasts with the chaotic image often portrayed in the media. Lake points out that the Gulf states' economic boom and their shift away from exporting extremist ideologies represent a significant geopolitical shift, one that Trump's policies have helped facilitate. The normalization of relations between Israel and several Arab states and the potential inclusion of Saudi Arabia mark a historic realignment in the Middle East. Lake also touches on the fractured nature of alliances involving Iran, Russia, China, and North Korea, describing them as a mafia-like arrangement rather than a cohesive alliance based on shared values or history. He notes that Russia and China have been largely absent in responding to Israeli strikes on Iran, partly due to their own entanglements and interests. Meanwhile, the Gulf states and Israel have found common cause against Iranian influence, signaling a new regional order. A significant part of the conversation delves into the ideological struggle within the Muslim world. Lake explains that political Islam, which seeks to organize societies based on Islamic law and has fueled groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, ISIS, and the Iranian regime, has largely failed to deliver prosperity or stability. He contrasts this with the more moderate, economically focused Gulf states that are embracing modernization and countering extremist ideologies. The absence of a unifying religious authority in Sunni Islam complicates efforts to reform or modernize religious thought, unlike Shia Islam, which has a more hierarchical clerical structure. Lake suggests that the defeat of political Islam's militant factions could open space for new ideas and religious interpretations that reconcile faith with modernity, much like historical reforms in other religions. The conversation briefly touches on the controversial Jeffrey Epstein case, with Lake expressing skepticism about conspiracy theories that link Epstein's activities to intelligence agencies like Mossad or the CIA. While acknowledging that intelligence services do engage in honey traps and blackmail, Lake sees Epstein's crimes more as the actions of a wealthy, predatory individual rather than a grand espionage operation. He also notes the systemic inequality in justice for the wealthy and powerful, which partly explains Epstein's initial leniency. Lake addresses the ongoing conflict in Gaza, emphasizing the complexity of the situation. He acknowledges the tragic civilian casualties but stresses that Hamas bears responsibility for initiating the conflict and using civilians as human shields. He believes that Israel's military victory in the recent 12-day war has weakened Hamas significantly and that the future of Gaza must involve new leadership and reconstruction efforts. The humanitarian efforts underway, despite sabotage attempts by Hamas, offer a glimmer of hope for the civilian population. Finally, the discussion turns inward to America's domestic challenges, including political dysfunction, institutional crises, and cultural battles. Lake shares a cautious optimism, noting America's history of overcoming difficult periods and the ongoing innovation in places like Austin, Texas. He stresses the importance of restoring America's sense of purpose and competitiveness, especially in the face of rising global powers like China.